Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
The thrill that'll get you when you get your picture on the cover of the Rolling Stone.
Yeah, man. Welcome to Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni. It's a somewhat cloudy afternoon, April the 11th, and I am proud and privileged to have on my show this afternoon. I couldn't help but play that, Robyn. I'm sorry. That cover of the Rolling Stone is one of the magazines that her words have graced over the years. I'm talking about the queen of the quill, the princess of the pen, and the Wonder Woman of the word processor. I don't know what else I can do and sound any goofier. I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears the masterful journalist to the music industry and mostly to my brothers called the drummers that hold the groove in this industry. Please welcome my dear friend, longtime friend, please welcome Miss Robyn Flans. Robyn, welcome.
Wow. I am humbled beyond belief. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. I mean, it's like we've talked over the last a few weeks, and for the listeners out there, Robyn is a little bit nervous, as I am nervous. It's kind of a mutual admiration here. Robyn is the one that's usually on this side of the coin. She's the one usually dragging information out and so on, and we're going to delve into her career hopefully within a good approximation of 2 hours. It's kind of hard to take decades of her journalism and put it in a 2-hour special, but damn it, we'll try the best that we can. Robyn, let's kick it right off. You've done enough interviews, but let me go ahead and just tell you how we're going to do it here on Jackie's Groove. It's going to be like you and I are sitting back in the backyard having a glass of wine and a cigar, and we're just going to chop it up and not make it sound like a scripted situation here. So put your seatbelts on, sit back, and let's get through this. Okay, with that said, girl, let's talk about this. Where were you raised? Where were you born? Et cetera, et cetera. Share with us.
Well, I was actually born in New York, but I can't claim it as really my place because we moved here when I was 3. So I grew up in L.A. I'm a Valley girl.
Original?
And I grew up in the San Fernando Valley and went to Birmingham High School and UCLA, and like that.
Perfect. And with that said, when is this something that you've always wanted to do? Like when I was younger, I always wanted to be a radio disc jockey. I always kind of turned the radio down and cued in the music and brought it up itself. And, we've kind of put this all together here at Jackie's Groove, and I'm kind of living a dream right now. And then the dream goes on when I have the chance and opportunity.
That's really cool.
And having an opportunity. I mean, I've seen your name, emblazed all over Modern Drummer magazine, even though I couldn't get your editor's attention to save my life. But that's okay. I know it wasn't you that did it.
Well, that is a bummer, and I am really ashamed of my former editors. But actually, no, this was not my first love. I was a theater arts major. I was an actress. And when that became a little bit too daunting for me, I took a journalism class at UCLA, and I had a very, look, the Beatles were the start of my life.
Right.
On Ed Sullivan. And actually, another band, I have to claim that they were sort of also inspirations to me, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Jimmy Fadden.
Yes, Jimmy Fadden, but more the music. Jimmy was, he didn't play drums actually in the band until later, but the music stirred my soul. I really got into the bluegrass. They were actually playing washboard back in the early days, but they were also very kind people to me, and they were sort of the first band I ever knew. And so I loved music, and I loved the musicians, and I was a kid, And believe it or not, they were the first band I ever interviewed.
Really?
And don't ask me why, but it was 1967, and I was out for a walk with my parents and my best girlfriend, Jerry, who is still to this day my best girlfriend. And we got in from the walk on Ventura Boulevard, and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band was answering the request lines at KRLA. And and I said to her, I just looked at her, I mean, we were like 12. And I looked at her and I said, let's call the request lines and see if we can interview them. Now, where the hell that came from, Jackie, I don't know. I was a little kid. But something in me knew, in my guts, even though, I was sort of a wannabe actress, that,
Right.
This was going to be something I would want to do in my later years or something. I don't know. God put it there.
Well, let me ask you a question. With that said, what was your first, what age were you when you first started writing?
Well, that's the thing. So we actually, this little kid followed through. I mean, we called the radio station. They didn't know how old we were on the other end of the phone. We said, we'd like to interview you. I mean, we could have been 24. We were 12. They gave us the name of the contact at the record label. That following Monday morning, I actually called the record label. We set up an interview. They were playing the Hollywood Bowl with some, a lineup. We actually set up an interview. These two little idiot 12-year-olds walk backstage at the Hollywood Bowl to interview the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. I mean, it was ridiculous, right?
If we only had that nerve now and that drive now in our older age.
Yeah. And so we did, and the thing is that one of the band members wasn't there. So, no, I take that back. The pictures didn't come out. We had to go back and see them again. That gig we went to, one of the band members wasn't there. A family member had passed away. We had to go back a third time, and by then we were hooked. And we actually wrote up the article. The very first article I ever wrote was in 1968 that got published, believe it or not. We went and met Paul McCartney at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
How cool.
And Teen Screen published it, a fans meeting with Paul McCartney.
Did he take you serious at your age, or was he enamored by your, for the lack of a better word, the balls that you and your girlfriend had to do this?
He was the nicest human being on the face of the earth. I mean, this man, had come out on the, he and John had appeared on The Tonight Show. So he wasn't out here on Beatle official business. And we had just found him,
Right.
The hell of it. And I called his room. I was nominated because I was the one with the guts. And we were a group of four young girls. And I was the one who was nominated to call on the hotel phone in the morning. And he pretended that he was not Paul.
What were you feeling when you were dialing that phone number? Was it like your first time you ever called a boy for the first time? Were your fingers shaking? Was your voice quivering? Or did you go in there with full vim and vigor?
I don't know how I had the guts. Honest to God.
Oh, my God, it's Paul McCartney. You're not calling up Donny Osmond. I mean,
I don't know, Jackie. But he pretended to be his assistant, Tony. I mean, this story has gotten told to so many people in my life.
Did he buy it?
Pretended to be Tony, but he kept slipping in and out of character, and he'd say, Paul, and I knew it was Paul because, it was my job as his biggest fan in the universe to know his voice like the back of my hand. I knew it was Paul.
Now, did he know, Robyn, that you were a fan, or did he know and also knew that he was a journalist? Okay.
No, I wasn't a journalist. I was 13.
That's craziness. I mean, for the fact that, you're talking about getting your feet wet. You didn't get your feet wet. You got your body soaked. by walking into the situation.
13 years old. I was, I was a Beatlemaniac, and I was representing, 3 other nutty fruitcakes. I could have been, a nutcase, and I was. But he was the nicest, sweetest, and he said, "Look, Paul is going yachting, so come back at, come back and meet him at Bungalow 7 at 6:00." Do you believe it?
Well, yeah, obviously it's in your bio, so yes, and we're going to touch back on that more because we're rounding out the first segment. Robyn, I want you to keep that thought going here because as we enter into the second segment, we're going to pick up this incredible story. I'm sure there's more to enlighten us all with Robyn, her guts, representing 3 of her girlfriends and talking to the infamous Mr. Paul McCartney. We're going to pick that up on the next segment. Segment number 2 on Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back with my dear friend, Miss Robyn Flans, the queen of modern drummer interviews. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
The richness of your life is reflected in the shimmering elegance found at Diolune Design. One-of-a-kind jewelry and pieces from Cynthia Dillon in silver and gold help to express your unique personality. The flowing designs of her creations will empower the way you move throughout your day. Join us online at DIOLUNdesigns.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
In the military, things can change in an instant. At Navy Mutual Aid Association, we understand because it's our life too. That's why our dedication to serving the life insurance needs of our military veterans and their families is unrivaled. Navy Mutual offers superior life insurance protection without military service restrictions and limitations. A single focus on providing the peace of mind military families are looking for. That's what we do. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve. Call 800-628-6011 or go to NavyMutual.org.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect. Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jackie Bertoni, and this is Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio, your music industry insider. Hey, you know what? Like this song said by Miss Chaka Khan, there ain't nobody. Well, let me just tell you, there ain't nobody like the girl I have on the phone right now. My wife actually came up with this another word. I said the queen of the quill, et cetera, et cetera. Please welcome back, my friend, the temptress of the typewriter. Amazing journalist. Please welcome back my friend, Robyn Flans. Robyn, welcome back. You know what? I'm going to jump right back into this because I'm sitting here with a smile on my face. You're talking, when we broke from the last segment, number one, we talked about you being, I think, 13 years old and bullshitting your way through the operator and getting Mr. Paul McCartney on the phone as a fan, and you found out that you were the mouthpiece for your other three girlfriends. So let's pick up where you were at. Now, what hotel was that? How did you get back there?
It was the Beverly Hills Hotel. And the P.S. to the story is that Paul, told us to come to Bungalow 7 at 6 o'clock, and he was as good as his word. He had gone yachting with friends. He was sunburned. And when we knocked on his bungalow door, he answered the door, and he came out and spent 45 minutes with four little fans.
Robyn, this at that age, you think you'd be into like Bobby Goldsboro or what was the other one? Saturday, SATRDAY, the Bay City Rollers, Davy Jones. But here you're 13 years old and you're chopping it up with Paul McCartney, 45 minutes. What were you thinking? Was your heart pounding out of your chest?
Oh my gosh! Well, you know what? I did. I think I really did black out when he walked out of the bungalow. I mean, there was a minute missing of my life. No, he was my everything. Are you kidding me? He was my everything.
And Paul is that same way right now. I have a lot of my friends that are associated with him. Abe Laborel Jr. He'll tell you the same thing. Robyn, you and I have so many friends in common in the way of drummers itself. And just talking that last song with Chaka Khan, Ain't Nobody, that was our dear friend, Mr. John Robinson, on the trap set
and
there.
John and Abe is the salt of the earth, and his dad. And
absolutely.
I mean, I've interviewed so many of these. Just I can't even begin to tell you how just blessed I've been to know and meet so many of these wonderful individuals in my life.
Robyn, jumping in, I've got coming up on the show, I've got Liberty DeVito coming around the corner. I've got David Garibaldi, one of my dear friends. I work with Tower of Power from 79 through 81. These are all your cronies. Lenny Castro's coming aboard. I mean, I can go and
all
and
people
board
I've
the hell out of you.
interviewed,
What's coming
all
up.
of them.
Absolutely.
All of them.
In fact, I wanted to go back here and talk about about your inspirations and so on. I usually ask somebody at this point if there's any musicians in their family, but let's move that over to the other side of the coin. Are there any other journalists in your family that you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I was the first, and I, look, my parents wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor. They weren't really too happy about any of this. So, but that said, both my kids are musicians, and I would never have done to them what my parents did to me, because I wanted them to follow their hearts and their dreams, and it's incredibly important, I believe, to do that.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time. Let me jump in here real quick, Robyn. I tell people when I speak and such, you know what? Don't force your children into any instrument. Let them go into a music store. Let them go into their class music department. Let them fall in love. Let them listen to that instrument that's calling their name. If you are talented and that's in your soul, then that instrument's going to talk to you. Don't try to get a plethora of instruments under your belt. Find the one that you want to hang with, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Absolutely.
What do your kids play instrument-wise?
My son is a drummer, and he's actually he's tearing it up in New York City. My daughter plays flute, and she's actually going the education route. She wants to be a music teacher. And I'm so proud of both of them. I found that it was really important to make sure they had the best of the lessons, and could read, and that was the route we went, because I saw, interviewing the most important players that I interviewed, I saw that was a valuable tool that that they really needed. My son had his first really, really important gig when he was 14 years old, and it changed his life. I mean, he met an instrumental mentor who is now using him in New York. So at 14 years old, he was able to read, and it got him an important gig downtown L.A., and it really changed his life. So
there always needs to be that inspirational person behind you, albeit your parents or somebody out there that actually touched your heart. And, I've got my best friend, one of my dearest friends, Emilio Castillo, the founder from Tower of Power. And, every article that I'm interviewed for, I mention him. I give him the props that's just due, because he's the one that brought me out there. I was 19 years old when I walked on the stage with T.O.P. at the Golden Bear in Huntington Beach. So that will forever be, part of my memory, and it'll never, ever fade. And Robyn, I'm listening to your vibe. I'm hearing an East Coast thing. What's your heritage? What's your nationality behind you, if you want to so choose to talk to me about that?
Well, my family is Jewish. We were really a loudmouth, very emotional, kind of, Jewish family. So I'm pretty proud of that, and so that's my heritage.
You're talking about loud. Have you met my family? My God, you can hear them right here, and they're not even anywhere within earshot. So, but it's good to be crazy, because craziness breeds craziness. That's what I think.
Yeah, and it's good. Music was always, music was always important.
Of course.
My father, as much as he wasn't really present in my life too much because he was very busy working, he was a musician before he was anything else. And I guess inside of me, I knew that that's what he wished he had continued to be. And I took that as a lesson. You're not supposed to do anything that you don't love doing. You're supposed to do what you love doing. So I followed.
I'm sorry, are your parents still with us?
No, they're not.
I'm an orphan too, my love.
It's you got to follow your dreams. I believe that it's worth the sacrifice. I was, I didn't make a lot of money working as a journalist, but I was able to raise my kids by being at home and be hands-on. And I think that was my, what I did, and I'm proud that I was able to do that.
That's beautiful. Robyn, let me ask you this question: are you more inspired by writers, or are you more inspired by musicians?
Oh, musicians.
Why?
Music is the soul of everything. I mean,
can you imagine not having music in your life? I mean, I go to bed with it. I wake up with it. It's always that. My mind is always reeling. In fact, I woke up this morning at 6:00 this morning as a musician, thinking about what I'm going to ask this woman who's asked every question under the rainbow to us musicians. And I'm sure you've had the plethora of questions and then that one answer response. And in this case, I'm not following that. I'm loving every minute of this. And as we're blasting by segment number 2, we're going to be coming up on segment number 3. We're going to pick up some more stories with Robyn Flans. We barely scratched the surface. So do yourself a favor, do your ears a favor, take some notes down. And when we get back on segment number 3, we're going to get back with my guest here, the Queen of the Quill. Okay, promise, no more Robyn. We're going to be back with Robyn Flans. We're going to delve deeper into her career. We're going to talk about some of her first interviews, how they went, good or bad. And we'll touch more on that when we come back on the third segment of Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni. Stay tuned. You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back with Robyn Flans.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Of a dirty man, and his clinging wife doesn't understand. His son is working for the Daily Mail. It's a steady job, but he wants to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. Paperback writer.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. What a inspirational song. Thank you, Paul, for bringing that up. And speaking of paperback writer, we're talking to the wonderful and beautiful Robyn Flans, the queen of drum interviewers. Robyn, you know what? What's really, really cool about our network, which is Intertalk Radio, we're growing by leaps and bounds. We're breaking records across the board. You know, and if you're loving what you're listening to today and all my other interviews, and my God, how could you possibly not? Check out Intertalk Radio, ENTER talkradio.com, and check out exactly what we're doing and exactly how we're reshaping entertainment information, bringing you behind the velvet rope, kind of giving you the 411 of what we're doing. And check out our shows like The Changing Stage with Florentino Buenaventura, and Girls Talk Rock with Tracy and Beth, and Music Gear with Rodney Elliott, and Radio Bandiego with Florentino Buenaventura. great 2 new shows. May the best brand win with my buddy Scott Robinson, and our newest show on our network, which is the Sound Experience with my buddy Tim Dolbear, he comes on after this show. So definitely, when you turn on turn me off, turn him back on and listen to what he's got to say. And also, too, just a little bit of business here. I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors who make this show possible. And those would be LP Music at lpmusic.com, who I've been with for 26 years. Pitbull Audio at www.pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. And someone that most all musicians are familiar with. And we're talking about the great company SIR, Studio Instrument Rentals, and they can be visited at sir-usa.com. Now, back to matters at hand and the task at hand. I'm talking to Robyn Flans. At 13 years old, this girl had more chutzpah, for the lack of a better word, at 13 years old to go and hunt down, we call it stalking nowadays, her idol, which was Paul McCartney. And I just think that is that's incredible. And and the cool thing about me, as a first and foremost a musician, you can also check me out at JackieBertone.com. That's BERTONE.com. And you can see where my legacy and where I come from. And the cool thing about having a name and respect name in the industry is this show, like Jackie's Groove, I can choose the who's who of musicians out there, and in this case, the who's who of writers out there. Robyn Flans. Robyn, welcome back, my love.
Thank you
I lost 20 pounds on that one. I lost 20 pounds on that. Hey, you know what? Speaking about losing 20 pounds or gaining 20 pounds, let's talk about your favorite restaurant and what you'd like to put in your tummy, girl.
Oh, my God.
What feeds the soul?
You know what? I don't get out a lot. Favorite restaurant? Well, geez. I like a good deli because I like a good salad. I know that sounds really boring.
Not at all.
But Agoura's Famous Deli has the best damn Chinese chicken salad you will ever eat in your life.
What, no Cantors?
No. You know what? I raised my kids in Agoura, and I got to say, and even Ed Shaughnessy, who later in life, we would hang out at Agoura's Famous Deli. He told me he was a connoisseur of pastrami and corned beef sandwiches, and he told me that out of all the delis he had eaten at, that was the best deli he had ever eaten at.
And Ed Shaughnessy, let's not forget to mention the fact that he was the drummer of the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. If you remember this big burly guy, he had the big mutton chops, he had that huge medallion around his neck, and he held this amazing time itself. And Robyn, if you could put me in contact with him or mention what we're doing, that would be amazing. That is something, along
God,
as
Eddie,
yeah. Can
Eddie
you imagine?
You know what, Jackie? I think you forgot, but Eddie's gone.
He passed. Oh my God, I completely forgot.
Eddie's gone. My dear Eddie is gone. I know it wasn't that long ago, and that's why it's slipped your mind. But
Honey, it slipped my mind because I have on my notes right here, I wanted to talk to you about regrets, like my dear friend, your friend, Raul Rico, the 40-year conga player with Santana, who passed on November 1st of 2015. My dear friend from the late 70s. I never got a chance. We talked every NAMM. We had our annual. May he rest in peace. May he rest in music. And then also two of our other very good friends, Carlos Vega, an amazing, amazing drummer who left us way too young.
Oh, just awful.
And our very, very, very dear friend, my musical brother. In fact, I was one of the last percussionists that got a chance to actually record with this gentleman, this master groove. His name is Mr. Jeff Porcaro.
Yeah.
That's why every day you wake up, God gives you one more day to breathe. I mean, if it's not health related, my friend, it's all bullshit. So let's keep those boys in our hearts, man. I'm just sitting here right now in absolute utter shock about Eddie. And
it was I was sort of helping take care of Eddie at the end. I helped write his autobiography, Lucky Drummer, And we got very, very close. In fact, I would consider Eddie one of my very best friends in the entire universe. And
Wow.
we became best friends. And toward the end, we lived within blocks of one another. I had moved to Woodland Hills, and I guess it was fate, because as he became older, he lived up a very steep driveway, and it was very difficult for him to get his mail, and I would go by there every morning on my way wherever I was going to bring his mail and his newspaper up the driveway. Some mornings I would go in and visit. Other mornings I would just deliver all of it to his front door and just leave it there. And toward the very end, I would start taking him to his doctor's appointments, because his son, Danny, lived in Orange County, which was too far. And so Eddie and I became like brother and sister. He called me his little sister. And,
You're kind. Did you? How many times, or I should say, because I've spent many time down at NBC. How many times have you spent at the studio during the taping of that, and just that whole big band sound? With Tommy Newsom and Doc Severinsen and just that whole vibe. Wasn't those yesteryears? I don't think we're ever going to come back to that.
No, they'll never be the same. It will never. I mean, no offense to anybody who's on television now, and any of the drummers and any of the bands. It just isn't that. It just isn't.
And with closing that one, because I'm just sitting here right now with my mouth in my lap, we're going to turn this around. I'm going to make that frown, and we're going to turn it upside down and make it happy. But we want to say God bless and may you rest in paradise. Peace and love, Eddie Shaughnessy, Carlos Vega, and Jeff Porcaro. Never, ever, ever forgotten. They are the thumbprint. They made this. They made the drumming industry of what it is and what people inspired to be. So, let's move forward, Robyn. Let's put a smile on our faces right now that I'm so depressing. Speaking of depressing, what was your first paying gig?
Oh God, you mean what was the first article that I did?
And how little did you make?
Oh, well, I mean, we could go back to that first Paul McCartney thing. I think we made $25 on that. But that aside, I mean, I don't remember what I got paid for the very first Modern Drummer cover I did. Maybe a couple $100. It wasn't that bad. But that was Danny Seraphine. And congratulations to my dear longtime friend for his induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Did you see the any video of it on that release video from the taping for the HBO special? I
saw his speech.
Yeah, he dropped more F-bombs than you and I possibly going to think about doing. But that's Danny, though. That's the Italian in this man.
When I emailed him to congratulate him, and he wrote back saying, I think I dropped a few more F-bombs than I should have. I wrote him back and said, you know what, I probably would have done the same.
And speaking of with Danny Seraphine, he'll be coming up on the show hopefully in the next few months. And I also want to mention the fact that Jason Sheff, the bass player and vocalist for Chicago, will be coming up on this coming Friday, a special broadcast. And you can also go to his website, winmybass.com. That's WINMYBASS.com, where he'll be giving away his current bass that he's on tour with Chicago and Earth, Wind & Fire, and the same bass that he played on the taping of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's very, very, very cool. We're very blessed and very honored to be associated with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at our young age, our show's young age, and also with Jason itself. So check that out. And good luck. And like I said, go on. There's other ways to sign up. So pound that website, earn that base. And when we come back, we're going to be speaking of more incredible stories with my studio guest today, the beautiful, the lovely, the effervescent Miss Robyn Flans. Stay tuned. We'll be back on segment number 4.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Attention business owners. Does it feel like your business owns you? See if you qualify for a free 90-minute business coaching session to help you build a business, not a job. During this free 90-minute strategic consultation, one of our senior coaches will help you map out the best way to grow your company and get your life back. To learn more, go to MauiMasterminds.com/scale now. That's MauiMasterminds.com/scale now.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, WICH. Whichwich.com.
Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Like a rolling stone, like this segment 4 coming up. This time is rolling by faster than I would like it to. I want you just again, sit back and enjoy, have some lunch, and listen to this incredibly informative interview that I'm doing with my dear friend, journalist, drummer, extraordinarily gifted. I'm talking right now because I'm looking at all my notes. Robyn Flans, God bless you, girl. Thank you so much for screwing me up here. You know,
I'm not a drummer.
The interview of all drummers. Again, I'm looking at your bio here, and it's just like, you know, it's impressive for the lack of a better word. And I want to ask you a question. You know, I'm really inspired by this great movie called Almost Famous, where a young journalist who was making his way through, he wasn't, I guess, 13 years old, like my guest Robyn Flans, and he ended up writing for the Rolling Stone magazine. With that said, Robyn, hopefully you have a story that you want to share with us. Did you ever go out with a interviewee, a drummer, with a famous band that you want to talk about?
Oh, God, Jackie. Oh, boy.
Go on.
Okay. I don't kiss and tell. I did go out with somebody whose name I'm just not going to reveal.
Do I know him? I'll take that as a yes. Go ahead.
So, and the funny thing is, somebody got wind of it and spread rumors that because I only crossed that line once. And someone got wind of it and spread a very unkind rumor about me.
Jealousy, sweetheart.
As if I had done this often. And, my response to that is, what a double standard. If it had been a male,
right,
there would never have been even he said something very unkind, called me a very unkind name, which I won't repeat, and I won't even say who that unkind person was. It was someone in the industry.
It's not necessary. It's all BS.
And because I don't like to be unkind. So, what an interesting thing, but what a double standard. And so this is the thing. I'll tell you this much. I mean, if you want a story that's funny, because my daughter already outed me on Facebook. When Maurice White passed away, she outed me. Maurice asked me out many, many times. He was a very sweet man. I just didn't think it was appropriate. And I did have dinner with him once because I was at the complex covering something, and he had somebody come down and sort of usher me up into his private dining room upstairs in the complex. And we had a lovely dinner together, and he was, God bless him, so persistent. He called me so many times asking me out. And I found ways to kindly tell him no.
Good girl.
I just, I didn't find it to be something that was appropriate. But like I said, I did beckon to my heart in one situation for a while.
Moving along, my friend, I can see that you're a little bit uncomfortable with that, and I definitely don't want to be unkind to you on that.
I'll probably take it to my grave. Very few people know about it.
If you noticed, again, I'm going to make you blush right now. If you notice on our Facebook, there was a post from a gentleman. I won't bring his name up, but you can go to Jackie Bertoni. And on Facebook, and he apparently had a huge crush on you back in the 80s. And still thinks you're quite beautiful, and as I do also. And you kind of laughed at that. And he said he had some stories, so yeah, I'm sure he'll probably come up and give some more stories. But which article I'm talking about, or the message I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's so cute. And all of that said, I have been the luckiest person in the world because you know what? In all of it, I've been so lucky to become close friends with so many people. And maintain those friendships. I mean, people like, Vinny, who, I've shared many meals, and I mean, really, seriously, dear friends, Louis Belson, and Eddie, and Earl Palmer, and Jim Keltner, and, I mean, so many people that I call friend. I mean, real friend. So,
Robyn, when you mentioned Jimmy Keltner just now, were you at Jeff's services back in '92?
Of course.
I mean, when we were there also, and as I always told my wife, and I said, when the time that the good Lord calls me home, I mean, when we walked into the procession of that amphitheater, if you remember, there was 2 rams of speakers, and as we were walking in, every song that was being played into this amphitheater was something that Jeff played on. And behind me was Boss Skaggs and Bonnie Raitt. In front of me was, I believe it was Jackson Browne, and we were just amazed at all this. And Jimmy Keltner eulogized him. That was amazing. And if you remember, Robyn, all those beautiful snare drums that were sitting in front on the stage in front of Jeff's casket. And I got to tell you, when the priest took his drumsticks, raised him up and blessed him and put him back in the casket, I got to tell you, I heard a simultaneous from the attendees of 3,000 people. And then when all of our musical brothers took those drums, the snare drums, and they led a procession out to the gravesite, and then Bruce Springsteen coming on and saying, my dear friend passed last night, Jeff Porcaro, whose last recording was of the soundtrack of Philadelphia. Yeah. And it was just amazing. And to find out that Jeff was actually vindicated from these son of a bitches that claimed the fact that he died of a cocaine overdose, in which in Dow Corning, not that I'm mentioning these assholes, excuse my French, but I was in Hawaii on tour, and we found out during rehearsal when Henry Capono of the great Cecilian Capono came in screaming, yes, he's been vindicated in the fact they did the autopsy and found out that it was the chemicals in the pesticides that he and his wife were using in the garden. And and he convulsed, and we lost him at such a young age. I'll never forget that like it was yesterday. And then when we got invited to the funeral, I mean, it was the who's who of music and musicians and the like. Journalists were hanging from the trees, taking photographs, and we all made a conscious decision that we weren't going to do business. We weren't going to bring cards. We were going to celebrate the life and the legacy of Jeff Porcaro. And I hate to say that I was proud to be there, but I was proud to be there. I mean, what a living legend. Man, I'm finally finding myself talking about these things that are very upsetting, but
I know.
My God, yeah, but they should make all of us happy, Robyn. They should make all of us happy that we had a chance to live in that timeline of Jeff Porcaro and the music that he played for. So when we come back on this next segment number 5 out of a 2-hour interview with my guest, Robyn Flans, we're going to take a little extended break. We're going to regroup here. When we come back, let's pick up on this woman's amazing career. We're going to delve deeper. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Jackie's Groove. Jackie Bertoni signing off for this segment.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Progressive Medical.
Hey, this is Heidi Rue, and you know, Progressive Medical Center has literally changed my life and my health, but I'm not the only one. Adele suffered from bone deterioration, bone overgrowth, profound muscle discomfort, physical exhaustion, and mental fog. In fact, the bone deterioration becomes so serious that she had to have back surgery. Well, after the surgery, she still didn't feel well, and so that's when she heard about Progressive Medical Center. Progressive Medical Center discovered that her adrenals weren't working properly, her hormones were out of whack, and the drugs she had been taking were doing more harm than good. Adele came into Progressive Medical Center in a walker, physically and mentally exhausted. But now she's a world traveler. She hikes and walks several miles a day, and it's all thanks to Progressive Medical Center. 770-676-6000. 770-676-6000.
Progressive Medical. This is your life. Live it well.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the coaches training program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jackie Bertoni. You're tuned into Jackie's Groove. You know it don't come easy, but making it easy today is my guest, the infamous, the lovely, the talented Robyn Flans. Robyn, welcome back. And, and that song was by a wonderful gentleman by the name of Ringo Starr. And speaking of your lineage with the Beatles at the age of 13, infiltrating and interrogating Mr. Paul McCartney, fast forward, how much longer, how old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when you had the opportunity to interview Ringo Starr?
Well, that was one of the big, huge highlights of my life, needless to say. The first interview happened, it was actually not that long after John Lennon was shot.
Wow.
So talk about, a sobering experience. And so it was, John was shot in 80, if my memory corrects me, or serves me. So yeah, it was that same time period, and that was our first interview, and it was pretty amazing. It wasn't easy, though, because he actually didn't come to the door the first 2 times. This was one of the tougher moments in my life. I put my whole life on hold, and he didn't. We showed up, the photographer and I showed up at his Beverly Hills rental, and he didn't come downstairs for the interview.
Really?
The appointed time, yeah. This was a time period, too, when I guess he had walked out. I guess, look, John had been shot. I think he was on sort of kind of a sensitive time period. He had walked out on a Barbara Walters interview at the time. I think he was a little gun-shy.
Right.
And uptight, and I guess he didn't know quite what to expect, and he didn't come down the stairs for the first 2 times we showed up at the door, and I was getting increasingly uptight about this, because you know how when you love somebody so much, you love their music, you don't want it to affect how you feel about things, you know, like you don't want somebody to be an asshole. And because I've had that happen too, where
when you say uptight, were you saying uptight or pissed? What was the difference?
Where I was getting uptight. Well, I just didn't. I was uptight because I didn't want to get pissed.
Right.
And so I remember the night before the interview actually did happen. I remember being at an event and calling him from a payphone, because of course this was pre-cell phones. Calling him from a payphone and getting him on the phone and saying, "Hey, look, I've put my whole life on hold. please tomorrow, please come down the stairs. Please, please, please let this interview happen. So it happened, and it was the highlight of my life. We were out in the garden doing this interview, and P.S., I mean, it was one of the most wonderful things that ever happened because many, many, many months later, it might have even been a year later for all I remember, Max Weinberg called me up. He was working on his, or he just finished the interview that while he was working on his book. What was it called? The Big Beat? Yeah, The Big
Yes.
Beat. And he called me up and he said, I just wanted to let you know that I just did my interview with Ringo for my book, and I finished up the interview, and I told him what a great interview it was, and he said to me, well, it was a good interview, but the best interview I ever did was with that girl, Robyn, from Modern Drummer.
How cool is that?
And I was the happiest human on the face of the earth. So that was a great thing. And
what an achievement, though, girl. I mean, you think about, going through, again, the soundscapes of our lives, if you will. This, when I've had the pleasure of, of my legacy with the Beach Boys and Brian Wilson, I'm going to ask you this question because I only had the opportunity to meet this gentleman on the phone. The gentleman I'm talking about is actually a person that John beat out as the most recorded drummer in history, Mr. Hal Blaine, who was a member of obviously the Wrecking Crew. I got a phone call from, I was at Western Audio at the time, actually called Ocean Way, which is now United Recording.
Sure.
And I was doing on a beautiful album called Imagination with Brian Wilson. It was his first album after his album, It Just Wasn't Meant for These Times. And I got a phone call from the studio, and it said, Jackie, you have a phone call. And I made my way over there, and I heard this this deeper voice, and he introduced himself as Jackie Bertone. This is Hal Blaine. And I sat there, and he goes, I just want to let you know, I got your message earlier, and just kind of want to give you an overall, kind of give you an inside vibe of working with Brian. He doesn't respond often when you're playing. Don't take it personal. If he doesn't like what you're playing, he'll tell you immediately. And if he does like what you're playing, he goes crazy. And I got to tell you, it's verbatim because I'm sitting there in the studio recording with Brian Wilson, blown out of the water. This is Brian effing Wilson.
Yeah.
And he's sitting in an executive chair behind the board with his head down. I don't know if he was sleeping, but every time I would do something he loved, he would jump up and he would say, Jackie, that's incredible. And then I'd have to cut tape because he was speaking over the talk back. And when Hal said, once you learn the vibe of Brian and his idiosyncrasies and his genius in the studio, you'll never have to learn anything else. And he said to me at that time, he goes, so welcome aboard. He goes, allow me to dub you guys the new Wrecking Crew. And I said, Mr. Blaine, I'll tell you right now, I can never, ever take that baton because there will never be another Wrecking Crew, you and Carol Kay and the like. So that is my experience with Hal Blaine. So I guess the question I have to ask you, did you ever have the pleasure of interviewing Hal Blaine?
Oh, yes. And, yes. And Hal and I became friends. I mean, he came to a housewarming party of mine. I mean, crazy, I mean, when I think back to some of the shit, I just, I mean, he gave, he sent me bonds when my children, saving bonds when my children were born. I mean, Hal...
That is so cool, because again, too, a legend, legend in his own right.
Oh, that's
those are achievements, And speaking of achievement, Robyn, what awards or achievements have you received that you want to brag about? Go ahead.
Oh, you know what, Jackie? I don't think I've ever gotten. I mean, I don't know. There aren't. I can't think of any except. The awards that I hold in my heart are the friendships that I've made in this business.
Perfect.
I mean, those are.
I wanted you to walk right into that because the bottom line is I knew what achievements or awards that were handed out itself, but the fact of the matter is what you bring to the table, what you extract from these musicians. That alone is an achievement in its own right because we can be prima donnas at times, But once you get into our heart and our soul, and we start talking about our God-given gift, and what musician doesn't want to hear themselves talk? And the fact of the matter is, when you're out there and you're promoting what your career is all about, it's a special situation. And of course, like I said earlier, me interviewing the master of all interviewers. You said you were nervous, but girl, let me just tell you, I am nervous because I want to ask you a question right now. And you can go ahead and sign this report card. But thus far, how am I doing, sweetheart?
You are amazing, Jackie. First of all, you don't have any problem asking questions. Second of all, you have a fantastic personality. Were meant for this job. You're incredible.
Girl,
You're amazing.
that means the world to me, And I'm going to cross off this question here, awards and achievements, because you answered. And if you can see this piece of paper, I just said, being you. That is the biggest award that you can have itself. And people always said to me over the years, if Jackie couldn't play one note of percussion, couldn't play congas, couldn't play music, he's still the coolest dude to hang out with. He makes me laugh. And my family's always said one thing: Jackie, you talk too much. But you know what? I look back at my family now and go, this obviously worked itself out. And my dear friend of mine, Talia Trigueros, the on-air personality for 94.7 The Wave, from Monday through Friday from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, she does my voiceover work. And she said to me when I first started this whole program, she said, it's about, excuse my French, fucking time. And I got to tell you, it is about time, because I'm learning as I go along. And the fact is, you can never take away the music I've done to date and the stuff that I'll do in the future, but it's making it a lot easier now, and especially enlightening, giving me more, being overzealous and feeling more confident in my profession. And we're going to talk more about that with Robyn Flans, my in-studio guest, a sweetheart. So stay tuned. We're going to be going into segment number 5 out of a 2-hour segment that's blowing by. Got many more questions. So everybody, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Thank you for listening to WS Radio. Improve your business and your life with useful information from experts and thought leaders. WS Radio is radio with ROI.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on vinvillage.com. Vin Village is where wine lovers connect. Hi, this is Rob Barnett, vinvillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Speaking of Mr. Hal Blaine, these boots were made for walking. The Sinatra legacy lives on. And speaking of legacies, I'm speaking with Miss Robyn Flans, the queen of drummer interviews. She's masterful in what she does. She gave me the biggest compliment a while ago. She gave me an A+ on my report card. So I feel like if I don't do anything from this day forward, I'm vindicated all the way around. Again, this is Jackie Bertoni. You're tuned into Jackie's Groove on Intertalk Radio. We're proud of what we do. We're proud of our guest, and we're honored to be speaking today to Robyn Flans. Robyn, welcome back, my love. Segment number 5. It's blowing by at light speed. Hey, girl, let me ask you a question. Other than myself, who is the coolest artist you've ever met?
Oh, my God, Jackie, there's so many. I mean, just artists in general. I mean, look, I've had so many fantastic interviews. I mean, great people in the industry. I mean, I would love to just tell you that some of the kindest people in the industry are Michael McDonald, Kenny Loggins.
Yes and yes.
These are people who have done me favors. Kindnesses. Pat Benatar. I mean, I was like almost her personal journalist for the beginning of her career. I was her go-to. People that I just have loved working with through the years. I've loved doing, my God, if you want to talk about the things that I've loved doing, the roundtable interviews, having, all those amazing people in my house at one time. Those were the things that, some of my best memories in the whole world were, having Jeff and Vinny and Harvey Mason and Jim Keltner and Mike Baird and Steve Schaefer and Denny Fongheiser all sitting on my couch, exchanging stories and eating a big sandwich in my house, while my dog crawled all over them. Just things.
Amazing. It's so amazing because I can't speak for you, but I can speak for myself. When I walk into a session, even though most of the sessions now are down at my studio, that's where the industry is now. But when I get hired by a named person, or if I'm in an event and I'm sitting there with my wife, and when somebody walks in, I kind of whisper under my breath, "There's so and so." And even though we're in that position, we're invited that because we are those so-and-sos there. But do you still get starstruck, for the lack of a better word? I get blown away because I'm listening to these people all my life, and I'm actually seeing them for the first time. Even, case in point, you just brought up one of my dear friends, a boss, Mr. Michael McDonald. When I'm around Michael, we just saw him, Michael, a few months ago in concert. And the man afterwards, he'll come up and say, "Hey, man, don't leave anywhere. I got to go say hi to a few people, but I want to talk to you and Cappy." My wife's name is Caprice. Her nickname is Cappy. So when we're sitting down there and we're chopping it up afterwards, and we're the last ones to leave the arena with a big hug and a kiss, I'm driving home, and my wife says, "You want to wipe that smile off your face?" And it just because it's still. I mean, when you think about it, when you grow up listening to these songs like I keep forgetting, and taking it to the streets and so on, and then all of a sudden now you're on an album with this man, and you've lent your colors to his voice.
Absolutely,
it still blows me out of the water. With that said, I'm talking about famous people. I want you to be honest with me right now. Who is the most famous person that's on your phone?
On my phone.
In your phone book.
Oh, my gosh, in my phone book. Oh, well, not very many people give me their real phone numbers. I'll tell you one person who insisted I have his phone number, which you would just be surprised. Billy Bob Thornton.
Really?
Why? Why? He's just the nicest, most down-to-earth. He's a drummer.
Right.
And we were talking drums and music, and he has a band. We just bonded over music and a lot of things, and we were on the phone, and he's the only interview I've ever done where he actually said, "You know what?" And this wasn't back to your old question, this wasn't a hit-on thing. It was just a connection thing, where he said, "I want to meet you. I have to meet you. Will you come over to my house?"
Really?
And I said, "Sure. When do you want to meet?" And we made an appointment, and I went over. It wasn't, there were people there. It wasn't this, it wasn't a romantic thing, Jackie.
Right.
It was we had a connection. We became friends. This was several years ago. And to this day, it's like, "You still have my phone number, right?" I said, "Billy, I don't know." "Well, take it down. I want to make sure you can reach me."
That's amazing, because if I ever lost my phone, I mean, I will tell you, I've got the who's who of people in my phone. I don't have any code names. I have their name. So when they call, their name and their face lights up on my iPhone, and again, that just feeds my ego that so and so is calling me, and I have a great time with that. But Billy Bob Thornton, his kind of a vibe, and with Michael McDonald. Let me ask you this question out of curiosity, totally off the beaten path here, but with your personality, did you ever get a chance to hang out with Jeff Bridges?
No, but I've heard he is a major gas.
He is. I did a show actually celebrating the life of his father, Beau, and also with Jacques Cousteau. I did it at the Directors Guild in L.A., and we hung out and we talked. And actually, he was actually slated to play the life story of Brian Wilson. They just couldn't put two and two together, and I think that would have been amazing. But just hanging out with him, his brother Beau. It was pretty cool, for the lack of a better word. And speaking of cool, let me ask you this question, or let me ask you a question. What is it about being a journalist, and me being a new journalist, what is it about that makes us almost like a bartender? People tell us stuff, they share shit with us that we didn't ask for, but they feel like that's, they want to talk, they want to get it out there, and even stuff that they don't want out there. Usually I talk to somebody during segments on their cell phone via text, and I'm going in blind with you. In fact, I even said to Paul, my audio engineer that you spoke to earlier, "Can you please tell Robyn I think she's fucking killing it, and you're doing it." And I got to tell you, thank you. I just think it is, it's just an absolutely amazing interview. I mean, you couldn't make it any easier for me. And we all have these, and I thank you from my heart, bottom of my heart.
Thank you, because I don't know if I am, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
And with that said, with all the people that you want to meet, but let me ask you this. If you had the option, or I'm going to call it a bucket list, how's that sound? Anybody that you can think of right now that you would die to interview, and why?
Oh, boy. Well, if they have to be alive, if they must be alive, I would love to interview Bruce Springsteen. I would still love to interview Paul McCartney. I've done a short one with him on the phone in recent years. When I interviewed Abe Laboriel Jr., I got to interview Paul for a few minutes on the phone about Abe and, drummers that he's played with. But I'd like to do a real one with Paul.
Did he remember the 13-year-old Robyn?
No, I didn't ask. You asked me if I still get excited and nervous and am I still a fan? Yeah. Oh, hell yes. I mean, I love what I do. I still love absolutely everything. I learn something, and not even with celebrities. I mean, I even when I write for the daily newspaper that I work with, I learn something from just everyday people. I love talking to people and getting their stories. But I interviewed Jay Leno recently and got excited. And God, he didn't shut up for a minute. I thought he would cut me off after 10 minutes, and he went on and on and on and on and talked, and I took that as a huge compliment. David Crosby recently, I got excited. I love what I do.
How could you not, girl? You know what? I'm gonna like you said again. Jay Leno didn't cut you off, but guess what? I'm gonna cut you off right now because we're winding down this segment. We're going into segment 7. This interview is blowing by with my sweet friend Robyn Flans. Robyn, stay tuned. We're gonna get back for some more really cool questions and if you guys have any questions out there, send me an email at interviews@jackiesgroove.com and I'll get back to you with any messages or any anecdotes there. So stay tuned. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove. We'll be right back going into segment 7 coming up. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com. Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of universal talk laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal talk laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kenja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KenjaDixon.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome back. This is Jackie Bertoni. This is Jackie's Groove, segment number 7, brought to you by Intertalk Radio, your music industry insider. Paul McCartney and Wings. And speaking of Wings, this interview is flying by. It's amazing. I'm talking to the iconic journalist, and in this case, my good friend, Miss Robyn Flans. Robyn, welcome back to segment number 7. You know, I just want to jump back into it because the stuff I've got to ask you is going to run over time, but we just don't have that privilege. With that said, let me ask you a question. With all the magazines that you've written for and will write for, how long were you with writing for the Rolling Stone and People and In Touch and People, etc.? Can you tell me about that?
Well, I was always writing for all, different magazines while I was writing for Modern Drummer. So, I mean, I wrote for Modern Drummer for, 25, 30 years. I mean, it was a lot of years, and I wrote for People for several years at the end, and in and out, different magazines sort of came and went, and Modern Drummer never paid my full income. I mean, they were not they just didn't pay me very much. So I was always writing for multiple magazines, and whatever I could, get going on, I would get going on. I'm still writing for Mix Magazine, which pays me fairly well, thank God for them. And they're just about the only real music magazine I'm writing for anymore. Whatever. The life of a freelancer is not so easy.
Welcome to my world, girl. And it's but it gets a matter of it's having that name, it's having that foundation that people are going to call you. It's it's almost to a point where I've said before in many interviews, when you come out of the groups that I've come out of, Brian Wilson, Tower of Power, and the like, you're almost like that beautiful looking girl in high school. No one wants to ask you out because they figure you already have a date, or they figure they can't afford you. But you understand something. Right. The people that we work for, they're the stars. They're the ones that have the money. They don't have an attitude. Why in God's name would I have an attitude? So I use the term, I'm just a hired grunt, so don't be afraid to give me a call and ask.
Well, but that said, that's why sometimes you have to start your own projects. That's why I started my own website, RobynFlansDrummerInterviews.com. And in fact, a lot of those interviews we talked about, I put up there as classic interviews. So you can actually get those interviews. Those are the classic interviews, and you can actually hear them. They're audio interviews. So now instead of just reading them, you can hear Jeff Porcaro laugh.
And I just found out today that my shows, my archive shows, are all being transcripted. So it's kind of cool. So I can actually read how much I fucked up on my interviews. But you learn from you. Did I say interviews? Yeah. And so you learn from your mistakes. And also too, my partner, the show coming up after mine, Tim Dolbear, he also writes for Mix Magazine, which is kind of a small world. Again, it's Tim Dolbear. So definitely look him
I
up.
know that name. Uh-huh.
So small world all the way around. And Robyn, with that saying...
But I also want to tell you that you have I would like to give you a standing invitation to be interviewed. If Modern Drummer wasn't classy enough to do this, I'm going to say that I would love to have you be interviewed by me for Robyn Flans Drummer Interviews. So
it would be an absolute and utter... In fact, you know what? Let's just finish this interview now. Let's just start with your interview, because that would be a dream. That would always be a dream, and I'm not kidding you, girl. To have my name associated with your name, you know what? In my 56 years of age itself, you can teach a new dog an old trick, or an old dog a new trick. So, yes, I accept your invitation if, in fact, you're inviting me. And Robyn, with that said, we can talk about that later. But, I always ask, if you can actually see my notes right now, I have a standard list of questions like, if you didn't play drums, what would you play? This, that, and the other, and so on. Mine looks like chicken scratch because I've kind of crossed out everything about, what are you doing? I get rid of the word drums and I put the word, interview. But with that said, I always ask my associates. I know we all have our traditions. We all have our things that we do before a gig, albeit live, going on stage or into the studio. I do my own little my rituals, if you will, how I keep my mind ready to go. On live performance, I always look up. I say a prayer to my departed mom. I say, give me the strength and the tenacity to go through this, hour and a half, 2 hour show without falling on my ass. And so far, she's been listening all the way to it. And then, of course, in the studio, where I feel most at home, is that I really don't have a chance to be nervous because I'm so busy getting ready and getting things lined up for the task at hand. So with that said, what does Robyn do prior to an interview? What do you do to gather your thoughts and share with us?
God, I am always nervous, and I suspect that being nervous is the fuel that keeps the fire going. No matter what I'm doing, I'm nervous. So, in a way, I guess I do always say a prayer, and I always just say a prayer and say, God help me make this be good. So yeah.
Again, and we learn from the mistakes, of course, and we should always welcome mistakes and try not to make the same ones. God knows, and this is my 12th interview. I've made more mistakes than I want to admit to, but at the same time, also, it's like I think it's just my natural vibe, my natural personality that comes out where I stumble up on my words. I remember my friend Talia from The Wave. She had said to me, she gave me kind of a Howard Cosell, kind of a pep talk. She called me up and she said, amazing, amazing, amazing. You were meant for this. And she said that I just can't believe that you've taken you this long to do it. So she's doing this, and I'm waiting for the infamous but. She goes, but let me tell you what you need to stop doing. And she said, people hire you in the studio because you are a tasteful player. You don't overplay. You play with what they're looking for. So, Jackie, with that said, stop interrupting your interviewees. When you ask a question, they've been asked this question 1,000 times over, but they're vibing on your question. Answer the question, step back, shut up, and wait for them to respond. And so I know from my interview with Al Di Meola, which was like, a mainstay, was like a milestone in a young career, and I want to do it again. In fact, we're pretty excited that Jackie's Groove, we're going to be following Mr. Di Meola through his whole North American tour coming up. And yeah, we're going to be doing hopefully a situation that Jackie's Groove presents at the Music Box when Al comes to San Diego. So we'll talk more about that. And as I said, we're pretty excited about that. Also, two upcoming shows. Jason Sheff, vocalist, bassist for Chicago. His contest, winmybass.com, giving away his bass that's currently on tour right now with Chicago Earth, Wind & Fire, and the same bass that's on the broadcast of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So definitely check into that. And with Robyn, the preparation, again, getting together your task at hand and so on, what motivates you. Let me ask you this question. It's something I didn't check off what I did of the other messages, but if I hijack your phone or your iPod or your whatever they call them nowadays, or in our case, we're so old, where your Walkman, what am I going to find in there musically?
Oh gosh. Well, I have to confess, I'm a classic girl. I just, I'm Stevie Wonder, and I mean, I raised my kids on, you know, Beatles, Stevie Wonder, the Rascals, oh God, Earth, Wind and Fire. Those are their pretty much their favorite bands, and what you will hear me sort of and Toto.
Absolutely.
What you're going to hear me play, you know, most of the time. Oh, Michael McDonald. Nobody's voice brings me out of the doldrums like Michael's.
It does. I mean, the man could sing the phone book, you know, and it's going to sound good. It's that blue-eyed soul that Michael's got. In fact, if you don't know, Michael's got a new album he's in the studio right now working on. I've been begging him for the last 3 months to get me on something. I don't care if I have to play Triangle, but he's going to come through for me. I know he will. So, Michael, I know you're listening. So heed my prayer, heed my blessings, and get me on that album. Robyn, 25 seconds left of segment number 7 going into segment number 8. And I've got 15 more segments of the questions I need to ask you, so I will pick this up on the next segment. This is blowing by. I'm having
How is this possible?
Yeah, you know, it's possible because it's all going to work again, too. We're going to come back on segment number 8 with my guest, Robyn Flans. Robyn, it's going to be even more fun on the segment 8 of the last hour of Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these short messages.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of universal talk laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal talk laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kenja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KenjaDixon.com.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at which.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, WICH. Which.com.
Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
The beautiful voice of Stevie Wonder. Now, that voice makes me happy, but what doesn't make me happy is that we are on the final segment number 8 of a 2-hour interview that is blown by in light speed with my beautiful friend, the sexy, the vivacious, the beautiful Robyn Flans. How's that, Robyn? To embarrass you even that much more here. You know, I'm gonna bring my partner on here momentarily. He's the CEO of Intertalk Radio, and he's going to kind of give a couple questions that he's been dying to ask you. But before I bring him on, I got to ask you a question, Robyn. Where I always ask the musicians this, where were you at the time of? But let me ask you this question. Where were you the first time that you saw your name on an article that you wrote? What article was it, and what were you feeling? Express that to my listening audience.
Wow. Where was I? Where was I?
I wasn't there, so you have to help me out here.
You know what? I think it was, well, I mean, honestly, I mean, the first most important article was a Billboard review. That was the most important one. And that would have been on Chicago. I did a Chicago review for Billboard magazine, and I bought it at the newsstand, and I had been waiting for it to come out for the week, and I just remember my heart stopped, and I was just so excited to see my name in print. It was the first.
What year was this, girl?
I want to say it was like 78. I mean, that was the most important. That was the big deal. That was right before I started working for Modern Drummer, because that's how I got to work for Modern Drummer. I accumulated some print with Billboard magazine, and then I sent it to Modern Drummer, and I said, see, I do reviews for Billboard, and can I work for you?
Absolutely. Hey, girl, I mentioned a little while ago, and thank you for sharing that. That's very cool, because I always want to find out. I remember exactly where I was the first time I heard myself on the radio, and I was with a song with Henry Capono and Michael McDonald, a song called Same World. I remember I cried. It was like Fashion on the Newport Beach in front of Ibe Magnin, and people are looking at me like, who is this freak crying, and why is he smiling at the same time? So I mentioned a little while ago that we all have partners. I'm going to bring on one of my dearest friends, the CEO of Intertalk Radio. He's in there shoveling coal into this oven that keeps this big ship rolling here. Robyn, I want you to meet my partner, Florentino Buenaventura. Florentino, please say hi to Robyn Flans.
Hello, Robyn. How are you doing?
What a pleasure.
Hey. We've both me and Paul here have our soot smudges on our face, making sure that Jackie's steam-rolling engine is just traveling at the light speed it is. So we really appreciate you being on. And it's kind of funny you mentioned 1978 in Chicago, because the first thing I'd like to do is give a big shout out to our good friend Jason Schiff, who is giving away graciously his bass for no reason, just to give it away. The Hall of Fame bass, as well as the one that he's using on tour with Earth, Wind & Fire, who you obviously know very well because I've been listening to this interview. And he just wanted to give it away. I was just like, wow, that's awesome. Let us help you do that. And we kind of partnered with him a little bit on that to promote it. And he's going to be on Jackie's show on this Friday at 11 a.m.
Awesome.
So people should be listening that are listening now. It's it's off broadcast. It's we wanted to catch him before the promotion ends at the end of this month, and then they're going to select the winner the beginning of next month. So there's the Chicago tie-in to your big interview. And in 1978, there was a movie called I Want to Hold Your Hand. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
So it was a movie about three girls that wanted to meet the Beatles to interview them, and I'm dying to know, was that movie about you? Did you talk to Steven Spielberg and Robert Zemeckis, and you picked out what's her name? I can't remember her name, but she was pretty Nancy. I can't remember, but anyway, I remember
it might as well have been. It might as well have been.
It was the exact story. When you were telling that story, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've seen that movie, and I had to look it up, and then I looked it up. So, if it wasn't, they stole your life. You need to call up Stephen right now and say, hey, look, I need to get paid for this. I need some money for this. So anyway.
It might as well have been. I was the biggest Beatle fan ever. When I went to their concerts, people took pictures of me because I was screaming so loud.
Wow. And the funny thing was, the girl was a photojournalist, and she did this to establish her career. So I'm like, it's the exact same. We seen your movie, but I didn't realize it until now. Well, thank you very much for being on, and this has been. I'm probably the biggest fan. That's one of the best things about being the CEO of the company is that I get a chance to experience these things firsthand while I'm listening to all these wonderful interviews that Jackie does, that Tim does over at Sound Experience, that Tracy and Beth do for Girls Talk Rock. And, of course, I learn like an immense amount of information from Scott Robertson, who does the May the Best Brand Win. And then, of course, About Gear from Rodney Elliott on Music Gear Talk. That's my shameless promotion of all the shows that are on the network right now. And we've got a few of your friends are coming on board. I can't mention any names yet, but we could probably tell that to you offline. But we've got a few more people coming on board to do shows with us, so we're really excited.
It is very much my pleasure. I've had such a good time. Jackie's really good at what he does.
I'm blushing. Why don't you ask Robyn, too, some of the pertinent information of where we can where we can find out where everything, where Robyn is at and what she's doing, et cetera.
Yeah, you've got a wealth and a history of talented people that you've had a chance to interview. You mentioned the URL before. Can we get that URL as well as any other ones that we can, how can we find out more about Robyn?
Well, I'm at www.robynflansdrummerinterviews.com, and you can catch up with me there. It is where I am posting all my interviews now, and they're audio, so they bring a special life to them that I wasn't able to. I've always wanted people to be able to hear my interviews, so some of them are the classic ones that people got to read, but now they're uncut and they're full of laughter and moving parts. I mean, that classic roundtable is even available on CD, which is really special. I mean, it's really special to be able to hear some of our departed friends that aren't with us. It's just when I hear them again, I'm really moved. So that's where you can catch up with me. It's and you can hear and you can also see me on Facebook, of course. And I post what's going on and all the upcoming interviews and then I do current interviews. So that's where I am most of the time.
And Robyn, before we sign off here itself, any new articles that you kind of want to talk about that's coming up, or should we just keep stalking you on your websites to find out any new articles that are coming up?
You need to stalk me. I love to be stalked. That's pretty much. I love to be stalked, and you can always private message me. I love hearing from people. Facebook is the greatest invention ever. People from all over the world friend me all the time. I'm so moved because being a journalist is very isolating. And I never knew that so many people even looked at my name.
Robyn, there's that music, sweetheart. We've got to say goodnight. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning into Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni. Stay tuned for our next show coming up. You definitely don't want to miss it. Sound Experience featuring Tim Dolbear. Robyn, Flans, thank you so much, everybody. And we'll talk to you on Friday with Jason Chef from Chicago.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
The richness of your life is reflected in the shimmering elegance found at Diolune Design. One-of-a-kind jewelry and pieces from Cynthia Dillon in silver and gold help to express your unique personality. The flowing designs of her creations will empower the way you move throughout your day. Join us online at diolundesigns.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.